Allô, bonjour, bienvenue à Gas It Out. Ça va? Je m'appelle Gavin Emmett et j'ai avec moi ici Neil Hodgson et Sylvain Guintoli. Comment allez-vous?
Oh, bonjour, Gavin. Bonjour, Sylvain.
Combien
Comment ça va?
d'âge as-tu? Oui,
Quel âge as-tu?
quel âge as-tu? Qu'est-ce que
Où
t'aimes
est la
faire le
bibliothèque?
week-end?
Yeah. Où est la bibliothèque? Is it où est? Is it où est?
Où est
Où
Mrs.
Is
est?
it French weekend? Is it
It
Le
is.
Mans?
It
We-
is.
Yay.
French weekend.
Oh,
We're just getting into the
right.
spirit of things, of course, because yes, welcome to Gas It Out. We are heading to the French Grand Prix, round 5 of the 2026 MotoGP World Championship. Sylvain Guintoli, Neil Hodgson, and myself, Gavin Emmett, to talk you through a bit of what we're going to expect this weekend. Maybe there'll be some French success like we had 1 year ago, of course, with Johann Zarco. We're going to talk about that. A couple of the bits and pieces going on in the world of MotoGP at the moment, including a return of a favourite name from MotoGP to the paddock. And we just have a quick word as well on World Superbikes, who had their latest round in Hungary, and the opening round of British Superbike, although I'm not sure how much there is to say on both of those when we get to those towards the end of the programme. But for now, Sylvain, we are going to your home country, back to the promised land, back to Le Mans. It's about, what is it, 2.5 hours southwest of Paris towards Nantes on the coast. It's, yeah, it's obviously a motoring haven. It's historic. It's famous, of course, for the 24-hour race. But it's been the French Grand Prix host since 2000. Switched from, it used to alternate a little bit with Paul Ricard in there as well. Manucor has been on occasion. But, you know, after having low attendances in those early years, now, Sylvain, it is a landmark event on the French sporting calendar, isn't it?
Yeah, and one that we are really proud of. I mean, I absolutely love going there now. The atmosphere is unreal. It's crowd-breaking numbers. Last year we did more. Well, I'm saying we because
It's French now, Gav. Gav, French now, isn't it?
You've got to,
Not
you
having
know,
this.
you've got to be French when it, you know, when there's something like
Turncoat,
that.
that's what you
I'm
are.
sorry, I've got to.
Turncoat.
300,000 people. I mean, it's unreal. And well, you got to pick your moment, Neil, don't you?
Can I just say something?
And this one,
Sylvain,
I'm claiming that one.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to say this. I'm with what's he called? David Emmett on this one. It's 100,000 people, but they stay there. It's not 300,000 people. It's 100,000 people. And it's amazing that they're there. Yeah. I understand, but it's, as far as people go, there's not 300,000 people turning up individual.
No.
If you've lined the crowd up, it'd be 100,000. Just to clear something up.
That's how they count.
I think it's about 118.
Over the weekend.
I'm only winding you up. So what are you saying, Gav?
It's about 118, isn't it, that gets to on race day? But as Sylvain said, it's sort of from the Wednesday, isn't it? We get there on the Wednesday, and suddenly the circuit, it's one of the weirdest ones. You'd think it is the busiest Grand Prix that we go to all year, and you would think, what a nightmare this is going to be to get in on race day. Problems getting into the racetrack, and you breeze in because everyone's already been in the track. They used to have a bit of a problem. I mean, one thing is true, Sylvain. You might agree or disagree with me on this one. The French biking public is pretty rough and ready. They like an ale. They like a pastis or two, don't they? And they are quite raucous. They make a little bit of noise, so much so actually that the local government of Sarthe has basically said, look, if you get everyone coming downtown and wrecking the town, we're not going to keep this Grand Prix going anymore. And so Claude Michy, who's the promoter, works with PHA, he's a very, very vastly experienced across loads of sports actually, who puts the events on. He turns it into a festival, doesn't he? And has something on, whether it be a jet bike going down the front straight, music concerts, all these sorts of things. And people do go there. And it's a bit like a bike in Glastonbury for French people. Is that fair?
Yeah. They've turned this event into a 4-day, 5-day party, basically. There's loads going on. There's concerts. There's loads of things to see, and people do stay at the track. That's why the traffic actually is not that bad to get at the track in the track in the mornings. And yeah, they've managed to turn this into a motorcycle four-day party. So lots of people turn up early. It helps as well with the fact that that first week, that very specific week, is the equivalent of a bank holiday in England. There's actually 2 days.
Not like the French to have a holiday or two, is it? It's not like the French to have an extra day off or two, is it?
Yeah. So what they do is they've got those 2 days. They put in the days in the middle. They just put a strike on. They don't go to the strike, and they just go to Le Mans. Perfect. So it works out quite good, and then we get the numbers. But yeah, record breaking. And I know that 300,000 is like the total, over the weekend. But that's a record. That's the most attended Grand Prix, and you can feel it. The atmosphere. I mean, when Johann Zarco won last year, I mean, it was just unreal. It's like the whole track, the whole town erupted. It was brilliant. So yeah, hopefully we get a little bit more of that this weekend.
Yeah, and Neil, we have to say we've been there. Obviously, we've been going there a long time ourselves, and it wasn't always a favourite, was it? It wasn't always one that you relish going to. The facilities are a bit spread out. It's a massive, long and thin circuit actually you go to, but the facilities are all kind of spread out. There's different paddocks here and there. There's corrugated iron, it feels like, left, right and centre. The grandstands sort of loom large over each side of the front straight. Bless you, Neil Hodgson.
That's me. Sorry. I'm all right, sneezer.
Yeah, but and sometimes because of the weather over the years, we've not had the greatest weather at the racetrack. We'll get onto that in a bit about it. But it's fair to say we didn't relish it. But since COVID, really, it's been one of those that we've all quite looked forward to going to, because there is a real atmosphere and you feel like you're at a proper event.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm going to say it was probably in my bottom. It's probably in my bottom three.
It's definitely, it was the worst, second worst, and third worst for me.
Isn't it funny how it's changed though? Because it used to be where you to queue to get in, then you got in, and there's like the festival goers have been on it all night, and you'd be like trying to walk through them to get into the paddock, and it actually wasn't a nice atmosphere, but it's changed completely. And also, I felt like the first few years we had a lot of bad weather, so it's pouring down every day. Like you mentioned, the corrugated iron, sort of when you stood in pit lane, and actually at the back of the paddock where we do the presentation, it was always so loud. I don't know. I didn't like the hotel we stayed in. There were a few different things why it was in my bottom three. And it's like you said, since COVID, it's all changed. It's like it's cleaned up a little bit. Like we just said earlier, everybody's already in, so it takes 15 minutes to get from the hotel actually into the track. It's no hassle at all. And it actually seems, even though there's more people at the event, it seems like it's calmed down. They don't seem quite as wild, quite as off their faces. It's like we used to have to drive through that tunnel to leave the track. And it was intimidating because you were nose to tail queuing to get out, and there's thousands of people walking by you. If you've got your window open, they're throwing beer in or something worse. And if they see that you're English, you're having a bad day. So you just like keep going. I remember one time I was with you, Gav, you were driving and I was sat in the back seat and I leant forward and I pressed your horn. And then everyone's like looking at you, thinking it's you, popping your horn at people. It was, and you're going, fuck off. Well, you don't be doing that. It was just, but it's quite intimidating, isn't it, when you leave the track? So it's, I mean, I love the event now, and it's certainly my top five. So from bottom three to top five.
Yeah, I'm not going top five. I'm not going that much. However, it is a fantastic. You feel like you're part of something. The French bike is pretty lively, pretty rough and ready. But do you know what? They know how to have a good time. I feel, Sylvain, though, it has got a lot more family. I feel like there are more people going as a group, going as a family. I do remember once leaving the circuit, Neil, not when you popped the horn. I was behind a couple of body girls, a couple of girls who were working as promo girls for the weekend.
Disgusting. Stalking again, we.
There were lads trying to get in their car. They were opening the boot and nicking T-shirts out of the. And I remember getting out of the car, and then I was sort of being attacked for trying to stand up for these. Oh my God, it was just one of those, and you had that kind of feeling. But Sylvain, it's changed, hasn't it? What's changed? Is it Is it the Quartararo Zarco effect? Is it that now, on Canal Plus, which is obviously a major channel over in, I know it's pay TV, but it's a major channel in terms of it carries a Champions League, it carries, cinema, it's a major player in the sports game. Is it that MotoGP's come more mainstream in France?
Yeah, probably. And yeah, the whole, it's true that the whole atmosphere around it has changed. They've also encouraged families to come. So I think last year was it free for under 16s if you came with an adult. So that brings like younger people or more people with their whole families, and so that probably calms things down a little bit. And yeah, the whole event as an atmosphere, I 100% agree with you. It's changed a lot. It seems like people are just enjoying it more. That they're more there, to watch the racing and enjoy the whole thing as a racing event. As in before, it was probably a bit more about a massive drinking fest. And so yeah, it's more about the sport. And that's also because the organizers have made more efforts to maybe involve the public, and there's more to see, there's more to do. And so, yeah, people are really engaged during the weekend. So yeah, I think we can all agree that they've done a tremendous job there for this Grand Prix, and we are. Yeah, I'm the same. I'm really looking forward to it. Despite we know we can get some weather. It can be on and off with the rain. It can be a bit cold and so on. But overall, as an event now, it's actually an event that I would tell people, you should go. You should go and witness it because
but Sylvain,
it feels special.
you would have to say don't camp, because it's a fine line, isn't it? As in, if you got in the wrong campsite, you could
choose the right campsite. That's it. Because some of them are.
I remember, really careful.
We went into one.
But that also,
one
they've now, and that's the same for the Le Mans 24 hours. They are now, there's like restrictions in what people can do and can't do. And it was a bit, let's say, it's still a bit wild, but it was a lot wilder a few years ago. So that's all sort of calmed down a little bit as well. Yeah.
Good.
I'm just looking. I was trying to see if I could find. There was a time myself and Neil went to film in one of the campsites in Le Mans. Do you remember it, Neil?
Yeah, do I remember it? I'm still having a bit of counselling.
I know, and wild. And we went in, and there were people chucking bottles at us. There were, they had these. One of the favourites is to get.
Sylvain, I always have this effect on people. Wherever I go, people are sort of spitting at me. Just standard stuff, really.
And that was just the crew.
The last few years.
So out of order.
We went in the camps the last few years. We went with Nat News last year in one of the camps, and people were lovely. And
of course,
we went sort of end of morning, because we thought end of morning, most of them are going to be waking up, and it's not going to be party time yet. So it should be quite good. So we went there with the crew, with the cameras and everybody, sound and everybody there, and that. And we got in there. People were super friendly. They actually, do you remember they started the bikes and started to rev and we actually had a good time. It was great. So yeah, that shows you that change as well. We didn't get covered in beer or anything like that. It was all nice and a great atmosphere in there.
I'm sure it was.
But nice.
I'm trying to find a picture. I've got it somewhere saved on my computer. We went in, basically. It was about, I'd say, 2014, 2015, and we had to do a campsite, but we'd have to do one. Pretty much, I've got it here. Can I get this on? I'm trying to add it in to the program to see if I can show it for those who are watching on YouTube. Remind you can. Anyway, there was apart from bottles being chucked at us, apart from us getting dogs abused from the French fans, obviously Sylvain Guintoli, World Superbike legend, champion, didn't have a problem. But myself and Neil Hodgson, World Superbike legend champion, did have a problem. Anyway, there was they fashioned their own exhaust, taking their exhaust off, and these exhausts about 10 meters long, giant cones coming out of the bike, fire spitting out. They're setting fire to the exhaust fumes out of the thing. So they're like fire breathers coming out the back of the bikes. Then there's a giant pig on a spit that someone, I don't know how, in your camping gear, it's like, oh yeah, I've got my light, I've got my torch, I've got my full whole pig ready to roast. How do you get that in your backpack? And they're on a spit, rotating this.
You two were lucky they didn't put you on the spiky thing. Yeah,
honestly,
they weren't far off
trying.
trying.
They put an apple in Neil's mouth, and I thought, here we go.
And I thought, I've been here before. This is not this again.
Yeah, but you paid for that.
It was an apple. It was an apple. Not sorry.
And then we went to film on the edge of the racetrack, and genuinely, we were filming this piece. It must have been in the morning warm-up on a Sunday, and we were stood on one of the barriers. It was at the S Blue, and we were on there's like a grass bank at the side of the racetrack around there. It might be something like that. Around one of these, we were sort of around this part of the racetrack, somewhere there. Anyway, and they were luzzing bottles and cans at us. We're trying to do this live piece to camera. Anyway, since then it has changed, I have to say. And it's a venerable old venue, isn't it? I mean, if you look at it, that's the view again on the YouTube version. You'll see looking down. That's into turn one of the scariest corners we've got on the whole calendar. That's going into the main straight as well, out of the Raccordaman, double apex right. You go up the straight, then you have your turn one. Of course, you got the famous Dunlop Bridge that you go over down towards La Chapelle. That's where the 24-hour racetrack goes on. Actually, I'm just going to put my race. This is the track map from last year that I make. This is what I work off over the year. You see at the top, that's your front straight. Not great for people on the audio version, but just a show. And I just want to get on to the weather. And top left of your screens from 13 and 14 down to Garage Vert. You see, in terms of the layout, very much stop and start, accelerating quite bigger corners than they look like they might be. Up a hill from La Chapelle to Museum Corner, back down towards Garage Vert, double apex right. Then you've got these S sections as well. But Sylvain, what I want to say is, because of the weather, you mentioned it there, it can be dry at Raccordaman. It can be wet at Garage Vert. It can be changeable. It can rain for 2 minutes. It can rain for an hour. You never know what's around the corner. What's your app saying? I mean, you have the app that you spend. What is it you spend? £100 a month on the weather app. And what's it saying?
On the free version. I just have to wait for the adverts to finish. But it does work really well. It is quite good.
So what's it saying? Okay, we are recording this on the Wednesday before the Grand Prix. So what's it saying for our weekend coming up?
Well, it's saying Thursday is going to be all right. So that's good. For us when we get there. But then from Friday, the risk of rain increases and peaks on the Sunday. So the Sunday is 60 to 70% chance of rain the whole day long, with thunderstorms as well. So it's going to be warmish, about 20 degrees, but we're definitely going to get rain, on and off. And Le Mans in the rain is super slippy, very, very tricky to... that's why we get normally so many crashes when it's a track where there's loads and loads of crashes, because one, it's very slippy in the wet, and then in the dry, you also have turn two, the entry of the Dunlop chicane, which is the first time you turn left for a really, really long time, and you're sort of changing direction while putting loads of load on the front tire, and there's loads of people losing the front there. So yeah, lots of crashes, sleepy track. It's due to be resurfaced. I think it's at the end of this year, because that surface now is not offering the grip that we need in the wet. So that's going to be resurfaced very soon. But for now, for this weekend, it's still the all asphalt. And yeah, if it rains, it gets really, really tricky. To put it in perspective, in last year, Le Mans 24 hours, just during the race, because it was raining on and off, we had about 200 crashes during the race. 200 crashes. That's 3 crashes per bike during the whole race. On average, it was just unreal.
Was that a record, Sylvain?
It must have been. It was just unbelievable.
Did you crash?
Yeah, I mean,
you crash?
I crashed out the lead after an hour and a half.
Oh, cool.
Just out of nowhere.
Did your teammates crash as well?
Yeah, one each. We had good team spirit last year, and we all. We all crashed, supported each other,
backing each other up with it.
So, yeah.
I wonder. Sylvain. I mean, obviously, we do not recommend gambling, betterware, and all that sort of thing. But yeah, I wonder if they do a spread bet on number of crashes, because it is. I think it's usually there and Misano are the two places that do get the most crashes throughout the year. Usually, often on a race weekend, it's over 90, over 100. I think probably, you're talking about maybe not in Jerez because we had some tricky conditions, but a normal weekend, a normal Grand Prix might be 30 to 40 crashes that you get on a race weekend, 10 a day, that kind of thing across the classes, maybe 10 or 12, so about 40 crashes. And it's often hundreds. So I wonder if you can get a spread on it, Neil. You know, I wonder if you can go higher than the average, because, you know, with changeable conditions, what it has given us over the years, Neil, I have to say, is it's given us different winners, hasn't it? So obviously we had Zarco last year on the Honda, but then before that it was Ducati, but it wasn't the Ducati you might have expected. It was Jorge Martin in 24, it was Marco Bezzecchi in 23, it was Bastianini in 22, Miller in 21, it was Danilo Petrucci when we went there, of course, during the COVID year. Before that, Marc Marquez, and actually before that, it was very much a Yamaha racetrack, wasn't it, that we went to. Just explain a little bit about the differing conditions and how it feels over at Le Mans to ride in it, but also a little bit about the layout and why it lends itself to crashing.
Yeah, it's funny because over the years it always seems like it's a bit of a leveler, is Le Mans. It's a track that the rider can make the difference. It always seems like it's never like one session is the same as the next. The weather is always changing, so it's who's adaptable. But you're right. I remember when it was a real Yamaha track, which makes no sense because if you look at the track map, it's more of a stop and go track. You think that would suit a Honda or obviously a Ducati. But then in recent years, Ducati has been really dominant around there. But like you just said, different winners with Miller and Bastianini and Petrucci et al. So, but you feel like coming into this weekend, you'd have to think that we've stopped asking the question now, which is the best bike in MotoGP. It is clear that the Aprilia is the bike to be on, and there's no reason why it won't work around this track, round them on. And like I said, Marco Bezzecchi winning in was it 23? He won. So when it was VR46. So general feeling is, I think we're on for a good weekend. I think we're on for a wet race. So hopefully on Sunday, I think it'd be nice to get a full wet race, not flag to flag, just to see where everyone's at. But it's just the nature of the track. That last section, the last sector, there's two really good overtaking opportunities. We've seen some proper lunges into that last corner over the years. It's good for passing because you've got some decentish straights into real hard braking zones. So that sort of has created drama. You've got that tricky first section with that incredible fast turn one. They call it turn 1 and 2, but it is just one corner. Then into that really technical sort of Dunlop, under the Dunlop Bridge area. So all in all, it wasn't my favourite track to ride around, but it's got plenty of, let's say, pinch points, which creates good racing for us commentators.
Yeah, and last year, of course, Sylvain, it was, as you mentioned, a special moment. We saw a flag-to-flag race. It was all going off, people crashing. Jack Miller briefly took the lead. He had a 9-second lead, then he crashed out, and suddenly we found Johann Zarco in his home Grand Prix. He had about half a race to go. It was just lap after lap, wasn't it? So we were panicking more and more about what might happen. But in the end, it was Johann who came to the line and took victory in what was one of the most memorable Grand Prix ever to happen at Le Mans. Rendition of the Marseillaise up on the podium in front of the, well over 110,000 fans that were in there. It was a good day to be a French motorcycle racing fan. And just having that look, as you said, at the weather, sort of gives you the feeling like that kind of thing, that unpredictable result could happen again.
Yeah, it definitely could. And Johann Zarco has not lost any of his talents in those type of conditions. He showed it in Jerez, the last Grand Prix. I mean, in Jerez, he was actually very, very strong. Not only in the wet, in the qualifying session where he qualified on the front row, but then again with good starting positions. Both races, he fought really hard and came home with some great results there, a long way in front of the other Honda riders. So he's going to get to Le Mans with loads of confidence. Obviously, with what happened last year, but with what happened in the last race as well. So 100%, you'd count on him to be full of confidence, super enthusiastic about Le Mans, about changing conditions, about making the most of any opportunity that he can get. So I wouldn't bet against Johann Zarco 100%. And this is this is a good sign as well for Le Mans as an event as well. I mean, people are going to come back with what happened last year with that victory. You just could not write anything better. He came out of nowhere. I can't remember where he was on the grid. Was he 12th or he was third or fourth row? Made the bold choice for the tires, going with the wets when the track was still dry at the start, but knowing that the rain was coming. And then, putting the lap times on and resisting to Marc Marquez in the second part of the race. It was just, the atmosphere was brilliant. And we got it all, the Marseillaise, the backflip. And it was such a great moment. So yeah, there's a lot of, excitement for this weekend. And hopefully we can get the French doing well. It's going to be a lot harder for Fabio Quartararo. We know that at the moment with the Yamaha package, it's just hard to be competitive. But you never know when the conditions, if the conditions play up, there's always an opportunity for any rider to make the difference.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who'll be needing it. We'll take a quick breather. When we come back, we are going to talk the contenders for the French Grand Prix this weekend. And then a bit of the news that's been going on in the motorcycle world, in the MotoGP world, and of course, World Superbike and British Superbike as well, who've just been racing. Welcome back to Gas It Out. So we are still talking about the French Grand Prix this weekend. And of course, chaps, we come off the back of testing in Jerez. I don't know how relevant testing in Jerez is going to be, but obviously it's a crucial point of the season, 4 races down, to have some time on the bike. And it feels like looking into this weekend, Sylvain, I don't know, most of it felt like to me was aero work that everyone was going on. We saw big fairings on the Ducati, on the KTM. We know Aprilia were running different configurations. They had that kind of sensor on the back. They were clearly still putting a lot of weight into making this bike a championship contender, giving them every edge that they can in terms of the aero. But it's really hard, from my opinion, to glean too much from that test. What's your take on it heading into this weekend? Is there anything that we found in that test in Spain that we might be able to see on track this weekend? What's your reckoning?
It's difficult to read in between the lines because obviously nobody wants to give a lot of details, and what we saw was very little. Like you said, Gav, the visual stuff that you see is the aero thing. So we've seen Aprilia trying this new top fairing and something quite different actually. And you also get the feel that they're working still for next year. For the 850, they're working a lot on the aero because we're not going to have any ride-eye devices. The engine is basically a downsize of the 1000cc. So you just get the feel that the aero race is going to be more and more important. The aero is going to make a lot of difference on the 850. So they are testing for this year, but this is all like know-how they're going to be able to transfer on the future bikes as well. So I mean, you always get at the end of the test, you always get the riders saying, "Oh yeah, great test, super useful. We found this, we found that," and the usual caption on the Instagram post are, really positive test. I mean, who doesn't have a positive test? Everybody's having positive tests. So
anyone watching?
I don't know. I don't think there's much much breakthrough that's been done. We're gonna find out this weekend in Le Mans, but I think it's just little things being tried, and nobody really wants to roll out the 850s as well, the 2027 bikes, because they don't want the competitors to have a proper look at it. So they're all holding back, and they're using the 850s, but in private testing where it's harder to compare, harder to get proper pictures and videos of it. So they're all being, sort of cagey, which is normal. They don't want to show the competition what they've got in store for next year. So yeah, I think that's going to start later on in the year. And I don't think anybody's made major breakthrough. I think it's going to be the same in Le Mans, with the Aprilia confirming that they are, the best bike or right up there, and the Ducati being very close to it.
Yeah, Neil, there is another test coming up in Barcelona. It is really hard to read too much. So then going into the weekend, you mentioned before Aprilia, they'll be your favourites perhaps heading into the weekend. But let's not forget Ducati won. Marc Marquez said he found a couple of tenths in that test. Gian Antonio was in the mix again. He happy enough with testing. We're about that point, aren't we? Where you do head in, and isn't that a good thing? We head into the French Grand Prix. Obviously, if I nailed you down and said who you're going to pick, you're going to go with Marco Bezzecchi potentially, just because obviously he leads the championship and he's won 3, second in another one. But we still do head into a race weekend not really knowing who's going to run out victorious on Sunday.
No, you're right. And if Marquez has found something, then that does make him a bit of a threat because he goes well at Le Mans, even though he's not won for a while, has it? Is it 2019 since he won? I think it usually is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. But obviously a lot's happened since then. So, yeah, I think when you think about that, a lot has happened since 2019 with him. So he always goes in, if he's found something as well, he always goes in as, a possible winner. Of course he does. And it's not because I love him. And I know you're both thinking that now. I can see Sylvain's face going, "Oh, do you always say this?" But you can't rule him out. And I think then for the sprint, I think Martin is the sprint guy. I think Bezzecchi, as we know, it's not worked out for him at all this year. So, but yeah, I think it's wide open. We don't know, do we? We genuinely don't know. Hopefully, the other manufacturers are a little bit closer. Quartararo actually had quite a good test, didn't he? Did you see that? He was really impressive, actually, in the test.
And that's where Silva mentioned maybe Yamaha not a challenger, but Fabio actually in Jerez wasn't that far away on occasion, in the trickier conditions. So look, we still think anything like would be a long shot. Usually the best bikes do come to the fore, but you never know. You never know.
Well, especially in mixed weather, a bit weird. Yeah.
He was on pole last year, wasn't he? It was a full French weekend on that. And just about the test, we did get sent some footage. And again, this is going to be for those who are watching on the YouTube version. We did get some footage.
Yeah. How good was that, though?
Looks
unreal, doesn't it? Mad black. All the aero. I mean, it's even more aero than that, isn't it? People are like, oh, no, these will have much aero. It looks so futuristic. Looks brilliant.
We did have another one, but anyway, it's obviously not like in. Yeah, what do you make of that? The 850 being out there. It's good to see them. I mean, I know the Ducati's been testing and they've told us that they're not releasing that. That's all to do with the Encore agreement, which looks like it's stalled. We actually mentioned it on air. I've seen a couple of news reports since. We mentioned it, didn't we, on Saturday morning? Because I was at that dinner where a lot of the bigwigs didn't show up. But we know that the future's not too far away. One thing, though, I was going to say that we're not going to get from next year is wildcards. That's been universally agreed amongst the factories. Sylvain, having been someone who's done a few when you were testing with Suzuki, how valuable are they and how significant is it that wildcards aren't going to be allowed anymore? And what do you reckon to that? Because some of the greatest ever appearances that they've been in the championship have been as wildcards. I know Troy Bayliss was a replacement when he came in, but you think back to some of the Japanese riders back in the day, the Hagas, the Abes, the Katos, the people who've come in as a wildcard. It's part and parcel, isn't it, of having that magical one-off weekend?
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, these were great. Obviously, it was fantastic, and we all remember that, to this day. But unfortunately, this doesn't happen anymore, and it just couldn't happen anymore. That's just the reality of it. So, taking the wildcards away basically just gives the manufacturers a little bit less of a chance to be developing and testing, basically, because this is what they use for most of the time. And so, yeah, in that respect, I mean, I feel a bit sad because we're taking away potentially what we've seen, but it was just such a long time ago. Your Abe, and it won't happen anymore. It's not like the racing in MotoGP is not like this anymore, unfortunately. So we're not really taking that away because it's not happened for a while, and it won't happen anymore. We're just basically limiting the cost for the manufacturers because wildcards have a massive cost. But on the other hand, we're not limiting the test riders or the replacement riders because it looks like this is going to be mandatory for each team or each manufacturer next year. So So yeah, I don't think that's taking away the importance of having replacement riders. It just means that the manufacturers don't have the opportunity to test during a wild card, basically. So yeah, for me, it's no big deal.
I don't think anyone cares really.
No, but it's part of the concessions, isn't it? I know that, but it's part of the concessions, isn't it? It's been part of bringing, Aprilia having Lorenzo Savadori doing 6 wildcards a year has been part of getting them to the front, hasn't it? That's the only
it's definitely helped, but we're now drawing a line in the sand, aren't we? It's 2027.
Yeah.
Same level playing field, same for everyone. And if Yamaha are the only ones that maybe would be slightly affected because they are on the back foot, still trying to develop that V4. Do you know what I mean? It might be they might have benefited slightly from having wildcards, but obviously think about what we do for a living. We are TNT Sports. We're commentating on the race. The show isn't. Oh, and I tell you what, let's talk about those wildcards. It is. I'm not that bothered. It doesn't really bother me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We have got a replacement rider this weekend though. Jonas Folger's back in the saddle. Maverick Vinales has been at the Red Bull Athletes Performance Centre. Jonas hasn't raced in 3 years.
I'm worried for him.
It's going to be a tough order, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the reality, isn't it? Of how we've talked about this before.
He's done a bit of testing, but
it
is going to be tough.
I
agree with you. It's going to be difficult.
Not to be dead last, and that's no disrespect to him as a rider, because it's just that's the reality of what we've talked about. And with Maverick, we're not surprised, are we? Bloody shoulders. When we saw him in the airport, where was that? In Brazil or wherever it was.
Brazil,
yeah, Austin. You're just like, and he's I'm going to get this screw taken out, and I'll be back in a few weeks. And you sort of like, you probably won't. Unfortunately, it's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't rush those things. Talking to people, though, coming back into the paddock, we got the news this week that this man, Andrea Iannone, on our screens for those watching, is going to be joining us back in the paddock, riding for Niti Racing, an Indonesian team who were there already at the opening round of the Bagger World Cup that we saw in the USA. The Maniac's back, chaps! You weren't expecting that when he deleted his whole Instagram and told us he had a big announcement coming, did you? Talking to crickets chirping in the background. Anyway,
I don't know who's to blame, but the whole concept of bringing the baggers, we thought they were going to have a lot of named riders. This will be entertaining. We'll tune in. And actually, then they announced the grid, and it was a couple of, let's say, Moto E riders that you're not that interested in, sort of, not average riders. That'd be so disrespectful, but not riders you want to watch. You're not interested in. In fact, if you're walking through the paddock, you probably would find it difficult to recognise them. That's the sort of level of rider. And it was a really small grid. It felt like a bit of just an anticlimax. I was looking forward to watching all the baggers. We'll have all these name riders. Well, now, genuinely, this weekend, I'm watching the baggers to see how Iannone gets on. Do you know? And I think that's what they've got to do.
From Mugello.
Oh, sorry, from Mugello. They have to do that.
They need
get some names,
and they need 20 riders on the grid, and that's how it should have started. Imagine you get 20, 25 riders on those big, these big bikes, and you got names there, people from the road. You got, I don't know, you got big names, famous riders
Peter Hickman's and all sorts of from all different genres. Yeah, just going at each other. It'd be brilliant. McWilliams,
John McGuinness,
Bradley Smith, John McGuinness, whoever. Gavin Emmett.
That would make it more interesting.
All the big hitters.
Yeah.
I drop it.
Yeah, that's what they need. And if it was like that, we would all be watching it, wouldn't we? I think
of course.
Like if we were 20.
Who won in Austin?
Archie McDonald won, didn't he? And
McDonald. Yeah.
Oscar Gutierrez.
That's embarrassing.
Granado.
What I mean by that is, I don't know what Archie. I've never heard his name before. I don't know what he looks like. He's not someone that is a known rider. Just a weird concept.
Yeah, he's a young lad who's still sort of on the way up and finding himself.
What nationality is he?
American. Australian, but I do feel like they've missed an opportunity. That's what we all feel, don't we? Like, actually, it's not necessarily our cup of tea, but it is for a certain market, and why not use that then? And we've been party to conversations, we've spoken with them, and we do think there's an opportunity there to attract a different kind of fan into racing. And yet it feels like they're asking for money to lease bikes from them instead of just providing them, like what happened in Moto E. And I just think there's been a missed opportunity.
Strange concept.
Cross wires somewhere across the line. Right, when we come back, we are just going to talk quickly on World Superbike and British Superbike before we say goodbye. We might be already saying goodbye to Neil Hodgson. So you've got to go. Is it the airport, or are you off to the train station?
Train. Literally, I'm getting the train now. So all the way to Le Mans.
All the way to Le Mans.
Yeah, all the way to Le Mans. Direct.
Right. Well, before we do that, we'll have a quick break. Welcome back to Gas It Out. Neil, you've got to go. You have to go and get your taxi. But I just want a quick word. Just World Superbike, Balaton Park, more domination. Another 3 wins for Buliga, 16 in a row. Lecuona, second, 9 races in a row now that he's been in second place. Obviously, Oliveira got a podium in the opening round. Then he's got concussion. That was the most controversial incident. But where are we at with World Superbike at the moment?
Well, you hope the organisers just, let's say, just pull back Ducati a little bit, because it is such a Ducati dominance. And we're talking of probably a lap time advantage of when Buliga and Lecuona put their heads down, they were about 0.6, 0.7 of a second faster than, let's say, the next closest manufacturer. So it's not much of a race to watch. I mean, the field is so stretched, and it is a bit of a Ducati Cup. You're watching quality riders like obviously Alex Lowe's or Locatelli. Locatelli, who's finished top 3 in the world a few times, won World Superbike races. He's now finishing 30 seconds behind the Ducatis, and he's on the absolute limit when you watch him ride. So, you've other, let's say, not well-known riders on Ducatis battling right up at the front, and which I don't think makes it look good. So they've got the balance slightly off. It's not Ducati's fault that they've built a fantastic bike. It's not, but it's the organisers' duty for let's say, the strength of that championship, for them just to clip the wings a little bit of Ducati. However that is done, I don't even know, but that's what it feels like from the side. You mentioned that the incident in the Superpole race. Oh my God! In the history of stewards' decisions, it's the worst one you've ever seen.
What?
It's bizarre. I mean, it's the first lap of the sprint race. Miguel Oliveira outbrakes Locatelli at the end of a long straight into turn 5, which is a tight corner. He goes wide. Locatelli tries to cut back to square him off. Standard what you would do on a first lap. But in the meantime, Sam Lowes is on the racing line doing nothing wrong. He's seen that they've both gone wide. He goes for a gap. Basically, all 3 turn into each other. It's a horrible situation. Oliveira goes down and gets injured. Locatelli goes down. Sam Lowes stays on. Racing incident. It's the biggest racing incident you've ever seen. Anyway, so Locatelli goes back. They repair his bike. He starts the race. And then the stewards decide to give him a double long lap penalty, which is a proper double whammy, because not only does he score no points in that race, wherever you finish in the Super Bowl race determines where you start race 2 from. So his day is gone. And I genuinely mean this. Watch it, Google it. Just Google Locatelli, Oliveira and Sam Lowes, Balaton Park, and tell me why poor Locatelli, who ended up crashing in that incident anyway, got a penalty. It's strange, isn't it?
He's the meat in the sandwich, really.
He's the meat in the sandwich. It's bizarre.
I don't know what he's supposed to have done in that situation. Yeah, we were all discussing it. Neil, go and get your train. We'll finish this program. We'll do a really good end to the program now.
Don't slag me off. Yeah. Don't slag me off.
Absolutely, we will. Right. Thank you very much. And safe travels to Le Mans.
Safe travels.
And you can get there on the train.
I'll see you in a few days.
We'll see us tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah. Beers on you, Sylvain.
We're going on planes.
Vive la France.
Vive la France. Yeah, but just to go back to that incident, Sylvain, we were all discussing it, weren't we? I never got to the bottom of how that decision was made, and how it comes out like that. It's an odd one.
Well, it was just a wrong decision. I mean, if you're going to get a racing incident, this is it. Obviously, not helped by the nature of that track with those tight chicanes. accident like this or incidents like this are going to happen, especially in the first lap. It's really, really tight, those corners, those chicanes. And yeah, nobody did anything wrong. I don't think Sam Lowe's did anything wrong. Definitely Locatelli didn't do anything wrong. And poor Miguel Oliveira, again, on the receiving end. I mean, I feel so sorry for him. It's the story of his career. It just kept happening and happening in MotoGP. And then again there, broken scapula, broken ribs, and it took a massive blow to the head as well. The bike just wiped, literally the rear tire just wiped him on the helmet. It could have been a lot worse, put it that way. And yeah, Miguel Oliveira again. He's going to be replaced by Mikey van den Mark in Most for the next event. But looks like it could be a long recovery for Miguel again. So yeah, we wish him well, wish him a good recovery, and to stay strong. I mean, mentally that must be so hard. He was starting to build his speed as well with the BMW, like starting to look really good.
He's fourth in the championship.
Yeah, and got on the podium in race 1. He was doing well in Balaton. So yeah, he was looking smooth as well. Looking really good on the bike. It looks like he was getting used to it, finding a direction with the setup of the machine and so on. So yeah, again, that's going to delay his form, and hopefully he can be back as soon as possible. But yeah, to come back to the race penalty, this is never a race penalty. I don't understand it.
What's your take on Bulega and what he's doing at the moment? Another 3 race victories. The first one was, by about 5 seconds. I just wonder, my question to you, Sylvain, and it's great for Ducati. 16 in a row now. It's a new record, what Bulega's doing. Is Lecuona getting closer, though? Can you see Lecuona maybe eclipsing him? Because it feels like he's slowly eking that ever bit closer to the gap, but we'll be at the end of the season soon enough.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one to match him, because Bulega still has the upper hand, and he still looks comfortable. Still looks he can manage his race as well. He can do a gap and then manage the gap and lower his lap time when needed. So yeah, Bulega is still on top. I'm going to say it's not a surprise. With how strong he was last year. And his only top rack on the BMW that could be a match or beat him. Those two were a long way away in front. So yeah, at the moment, Ducati was like dominating so much, like Neil explained. And Bulega is flying. He's a great rider. I know he's quiet, but the performances and the results speaks for themselves. So he's a very, very tough competitor. Very difficult to beat, and rightly so, in talks to maybe make the jump to MotoGP next year if a place becomes available for him. And I do think he could be very competitive in MotoGP as well.
Especially with the Pirelli tyres, that's going to be the key. But there's so many Moto2 riders gunning for it. There's obviously MotoGP riders looking to hold on to their rides. It's, I don't know, it's one of those, for someone to take a leap, and it is a leap, isn't it? Top Rack showed over 6-7 years, didn't he, in World Superbikes, just what he was capable of and that he could make the difference. Bulega has, going against him, he's on a Ducati that everyone feels is the best bike. He's doing almost what's expected of him. Now, is he doing it better than everyone else in World Superbike? Yes. However, it's for another manufacturer or someone else to take that leap to try Bulega, who didn't have the greatest successes in Moto2 or really in Moto3. Had some, he did win races there, but in Moto2 struggled that little bit, albeit then it was on the Dunlop tyres. That's a leap of faith, isn't it? And it's a hard bridge, isn't it, to get over, basically, for him to be able to make that. Talking of Ducati dominance, Sylvain, I just want to have a quick word on the opening round of British Superbike, Alton Park, another great weekend there. However, we had a first triple at Alton for Kyle Ride, the reigning champ, of course, BSB, on his Ducati. Leon Haslam, 3 second places behind him. Brad Ray doing a good job, actually, on the Yamaha to get the 3 podiums behind. But again, it was 3 same podiums, different currencies. Leon Haslam was great, you have to say, throughout. But again, Kyle and the Ducati dominating there in BSB.
Yeah, and we had as well Scott Redding on the Ducati as well, and Storm Stacy on the Ducati doing
Storm
well.
Stacey,
So yeah, just like in World Superbike, they dominated as well. Brad Ray with the doing the resistance on the Yamaha, but Brad in Oulton Park. I mean, Brad is fast everywhere, but specifically in Oulton Park, he is so quick. Brad is very, very good around that track. So yeah, you get the feeling that it's going to be tough if you're not on a Ducati in BSB as well. So yeah. Kyle Wright really dominated. It looked so strong. Again, it looked like, well, a bit like Bulega in World Superbike. He's got that extra speed. He didn't get the best starts. The starts at the moment is his weakest link. But every time he's able to pick riders, he's able to make his way to the front and then control the race as well. So yeah, Kyle Wright looking good. I know he's done a lot of training in the winter in Spain on a standard bike, but he's done a lot of mileage, and he's definitely come to that first race ready to fight. I thought as well the weekend of Glenn Irwin was good because he struggled. He had some technical problems, and he was actually quite honest, saying that what was going wrong, and he actually got some stick for it, which was funny because he was only being honest, just saying, well, I've got some problems on the bike. We've got so and so problem, and we need to sort them. And then they finally sorted them for the third race, and he was super quick in that third race, obviously making his way from the back. But he did a good race. I was happy to see him, sorting these issues, because it's never nice to see a rider struggling like that, especially when it's not from his doing. So yeah, the team looked like they worked really hard, solved the issues, and he was back on the pace for that third race. It was good. It was a good weekend in Oulton, wasn't it? I thought the racing was good. Leon Aslam as well. How old is Leon now? He's got to be. Is it? He's just a bit younger than me. I think he's a year younger.
41?
Yeah, he's got to be 42, something like that. So, Leon was quick, really, really good. He did a great weekend. So it was good to see Leon competitive as well. So yeah, it looks like we've got a great season of BSB ahead. With loads of fighting and lots of riders. A bit of a Ducati domination ahead probably, but there's still lots of riders on them. So it looks like we're going to get some good fighting. Yeah.
Just on, you mentioned Glenn Irwin there. It's so right what you say. He's just being honest. Casey Stoner had the same. Do you remember? And he was always told that he was whinging or whatever it was called. It was like giving that. And when people, Glenn is a polarizing figure. He is, because he will sort of say what he sees. He will have arguments if he, wants to have an argument. He'll barge his way through if he needs to, and he'll be a polarizing character. And some people will see it as whinging, whereas actually, if you listen to the words he says, actually he wasn't making the blame at anyone. He just said we had problems. There was something wrong with my bike, and we're going to sort it. And they did sort it, and that's credit to him, credit to the team. Or everyone comes out of it looking good, and yet he gets some stick for actually doing the right thing in an interview instead of giving the PR speak of everything's fine, that kind of thing. No, just saying it like it is, and then coming out.
Well, he never said. He never said, "Oh, the team is rubbish and the bike is rubbish, and that's why I'm not doing well." He didn't throw his toys out the pram. He just said, "We've got issues with the clutch. We've got some issues. That issue with the gear sensor, and that's why you couldn't downshift properly." I mean, if you're in Newton Park and you're on a super bike and you're going in every corner not knowing if the gears are going in, I mean, this is scary. This is potentially, you could hit force neutral or not be in the right gear, and then the engine brake is not what you expect, and that's pushing you, and you can crash because of it, or run out of track. So yeah, he was just being honest, and when the team actually sorted it, he was just the same, just as honest, and just said, yeah, well done to them. They worked hard. We had some problems, and they fixed it. So I personally didn't see the problem. I quite like it actually.
Yeah,
when a rider is that honest, because then at least you know what's going on, gives people something to talk about, and through a weekend like that, it just creates some good stories. So yeah, like I said, it was good in the end to see them solve the problems, especially ahead of the Northwest 200. I think it's the kind of race that you need to have confidence in your package and in your bike, and you need to know that your bike is going to be sound. So it was good to see them back sorting it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And he'll be there, and we'll see Jeremy McWilliams at 62. He'll be out in the Northwest again. So we'll look forward to that. Right, we are going to say goodbye now. One man down, but we'll both be heading to Le Mans this weekend. I'm going plane and then train. But if I miss the train, you're going to pick me up, Sylvain. Is that okay? From Charles de Gaulle?
We can do that because I'm going plane and then rent a car with MLAV. So yeah, we'll save you.
I don't know if I want to get in that. around the peripherique. The reason I choose to go on the train, ladies and gentlemen, is because you can get a train from Charles de Gaulle all the way to Le Mans, and you don't have to battle the peripherique, which is the ring road, the M25 equivalent. Well, there's two. There's an inner and an outer one, and it is chaos if you get there at rush hour.
Yeah.
I mean, it's taken me from Charles de Gaulle to Le Mans. If you went in the middle of the night, what would it be? 2.5, 3 hours, maybe?
2.5 hours, yeah.
2.5. But if you go at the wrong time, if you just catch the rush hour, I've had it. It's taken me 5-6 hours before if your plane just gets ever so slightly delayed. So I'm choosing to go on the train, but I've got very, very tight connection to get off the plane in Charles de Gaulle.
The train is normally quite good, Gav. I did that 2 weeks ago for Le Mans 24 hours. And you actually, when you land in Charles de Gaulle, the train is in the airport or vice versa.
It is if you fly with someone like Air France, but I'm flying with Jet2. And so you go into another terminal and then you've got to get, Charles de Gaulle to navigate that. Yeah. So I've got to have to
and then it's fast. You can get trains that get to Le Mans in sort of an hour and a bit. It's that fast TGV.
Train Grande Vitesse. And hopefully there'll be some
fast one.
Grand Vitesse. Because it used to be the Grand Prix Vitesse du Mans, didn't it? The speed Grand Prix of Le Mans.
Yes, yeah.
There you are.
I remember that. Yeah.
That's what it used to be known as when it was, I think it was a second race. Anyway, I'm going back into the archives for that one. Look, Sylvain, we're looking forward, aren't we? Should be a good weekend. Sylvain back amongst us on TNT over the race weekend. We will be back with a review episode where, who knows, Sylvain, we may get some more French success. Fingers crossed this weekend. We'll at least get to hear the Marseillaise once.
Yes, hopefully, yeah. And there's a good chance of it. Looks like the weather is going to be part. There's a lot of things that can happen in Le Mans when the weather plays up a little bit. And even if the weather doesn't play up, we actually don't really know what's going to happen, which is great. At the moment, MotoGP is just so good. So very much looking forward to Gav.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Sylvain's off the training program now. So if you are in Le Mans and you find your way to the Place de la République, the Pants de Bière on Sylvain, without a doubt, I guarantee it, I promise you. He'll put his hand in his pocket for that one. Right. That is all from myself. Neil's already on his way to Le Mans. We'll be heading there soon, and we will speak to you after the French Grand Prix. But for now, au revoir, à bientôt, de gas it out. Sans doute, gas it out. What do we say? Oh, I've got cramp. That is hilarious. It's got
you
cramp.
Absolute knob. Is that from cricket?
Yeah, I played last night. He's gone again.
Oh my God.
This is the best thing ever.
Oh my God. Here he is. Sylvain, you've run the bloody marathon.
I know.
And we've got this egghead here.
You just use different muscles.
Cricket.
He played rounders last night with his mates.
Cricket is just you throw that ball. That's it.
Yeah, that was it. Just threw a ball. Yeah.
We're going at half. We've got half past.
Yeah, sorry. Neil has to leave, so we'll have to get through this. We'll have to get through this quickly. It doesn't help when you get cramp. Anyway, what I was going to come back to on the testing.